I'm going to go over NDAQ, HES, WMB, PayPal, EBIX, and AMD and give you price targets for Friday. First up is NASDAQ. We ended the day at $54.13, down more than 3%. The one-year price target on this is $59.80, which represents a 10% return from where we are. This is where we landed. To the north side takes us back to the middle of the trend and the baseline and resistance at 54.64. To the north side of that takes us to a gap fill starting at 55.18. 2 standard deviations and another possible take profit area, 55.50. The gap closes out at 55.80. 3 standard deviations and another level of resistance and a possible take profit area depending upon when you bought in, 55.96. And at 4 standard deviations, 56.38. To the south side at -2 standard deviations and support from where we are, 53.77, 53.33. And at -4 standard deviations and another level of support and a potential buy-in area, 52.90. Looking left, note the bounce here at support up to resistance, falling back down, going sideways, barcoding, consolidating, and hopefully making our way up. And then over in this area, note the sell-off at resistance, and this gap closed to the downside at 55.76. And looking left, another area of support bouncing to resistance and then falling back down again. The RSI is at 36 and it looks like it is turning up as well. Now the next one I'm going to go over is Warner Brothers. We ended the day at 34.93, down more than 2.5%. The one-year price target is 38.63, a 10% return from where we are. To the north side from where we ended is resistance at 35.14, another possible take profit area. Above that, 35.35, and at 4 standard deviations, 35.55. And you can see a gap forms to the upside at 35.65, closes out at 35.80. I'm not sure if we will get there on Friday, but hopefully by Monday we will. I never expect price to get to 4 standard deviations in one day, and if we do, we will definitely start to fall apart. But this is so close that we might get there. But definitely, I think by next week. To the south side, back at support and the middle of the trend, 34.74, 34.36, 34.16, and 33.96. The RSI is getting into the overbought area at 70 here. So once it gets to this area, possibly goes above that, falls back down. So we are getting close to being overbought. And if you look left, anytime we were in the overbought area, do not expect price to continue to run without taking a breather, going down, consolidating, bouncing at support here at 30. I use this as support and resistance. And of course, if you look at this on different time frames, you're going to get different buy and sell signals. So this is just basically day trading and very short swing trades. If you want to go and look at the daily, the weekly, and the monthly for bigger picture, longer term investments, I would definitely do that. Let me just flip this over to the monthly. On the monthly, we are already turning down at 57. Not in the overbought area just yet, but notice how when we did hit that, it started to go down. So just be careful. The next one is PayPal. I own PayPal. And we ended the day at $58.48, down more than 1.5%. The 1-year price target, is 74.10, a 26% return from where we are. We have a long ways to go to get this, or we may never get there and it could be revised downward. But according to the analysts, a lot of upside potential still in PayPal, even though it's taken a beating. All right, this is where we are, very close to resistance at the middle of the trend and the baseline, 58.64. A gap forms to the upside at 59.10, closes out at 59.48. I will anticipate this to close out tomorrow, so this to me is an easy scalp, get in and get out. And at 2 standard deviations, $60.37. I think that's very easy to get to as well. 3 standard deviations and another possible take profit area and resistance. So we got to get through here. It will take a little bit, and then grinding along on this to the side here and possibly going down because we are at resistance if we hit this area. I don't expect to stay in this area without consolidating. The next target would be 62.15 to the south side. Oh, and at 60.50, this is where Murat previously said that it was his possible sell zone. So we did touch it here, and hopefully we will be back to 2 standard deviations. I always expect price to stay within -2 and 2, -2 and 2. And hopefully we'll be going up. And the RSI looks like it is going slightly up and hooking right. But we're at 47. All right, to the south side, let me give you price targets here. I'm getting sidetracked. Now, to the south side at -2 standard deviations and an area of support and a possible buy-in potential, 56.90, 56.03. A gap forms to the south side at 55.45. 55.13, this gap closes out at 54.41. Another gap starts at 53.08 and 51.70. So there is some downside potential short term. This will eventually close. We are not in the zone yet for this one, but if we turn down, we could be getting closer to that. So which way will it go? To the north side to close this out, and to the south side, well, it could definitely do that in one day. And looking left, again, support, a buy-in, sell off at resistance, buy-in at support, sell off closer to resistance. And obviously the lines change every single day, every single minute. So you got to pay attention if you're day trading or investing. There's a huge difference. The next one is EBIX. I've been trading this. We are up 16% today. I'm actually still in it. And I last bought this at $3.86. I will give you the price targets and tell you what I'm thinking with this one. Let me mark that out. I forgot. You can see how I mark out price if you haven't done that before. Under the coordinates, change that. And I like to put my current price in black. All right, we ended the day at 465, up 16%. The 1-year price target is $14.75. We are a long ways off from here, let me tell you. A 217% return from where we are. This stock has also taken a beating. And there is a lot of potential, obviously, to swing trade. To the north side, very close to 2 standard deviations, is 469. Note this gap to the upside that begins at 482. Actually, let me move this just so you can see that visually. And then 3 standard deviations is 487. And this gap closes out at 499, and 4 standard deviations and another level of resistance and a possible take profit area is 504. I have a sell order that I put in a long time ago when I bought this, and we are getting close to that. So I could have sold out today, but I was so busy I did not pay attention. So I am still in this trade. The high looking left, recent high I should say, was the 29th. And then we collapsed down, and that's when I bought in. All right, so look at that. Resistance, support. Resistance, closer to support. All right, to the south side, middle of the trend takes us to 434, -2 standard deviations and a possible buy-in area. Also support, $4, 382, and 365. I'm a buyer at -2, -3, and -4 standard deviations. Now, I will probably change out my sell order after I make this video, because looking at this, I see that it's changed a little bit to 504. So I might go and change it out to 505, and that's a little riskier because I could sell tomorrow after this closure right here, but I'm going to push it by just a few pennies. And if I'm stuck and it doesn't sell, I'm not worried about it. I'm in it for the long haul. And looking left, resistance, sell off as I mentioned. I have also purchased some at 560. All right, so I am down on these shares, but I'm up on this. The market tanked, and so I will be continuing to buy in until I'm even here. That's one strategy. All right. This gap closed to the north side at 489. I also previously bought in somewhere else. Where did I buy in? But I've traded this in the past multiple times. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't have this currently. I sold this a while ago. And I sold it at 630, bought in at 560, sold out at 630, and that was a 12% return. I have purchased this at much higher prices when the stock price was way higher. So I've done a lot of getting in and a lot of getting out. All right, that's what I've done with this stock. All right, so I will be trying to get out at this range. And again, if I get stuck, no big deal. I'm not worried about it. And let's go to really quickly AMD, because I'm going long here. I sold out today. I thought I was out of this position, and I wasn't. I own a lot of stocks, and so in different accounts. So I found this in a different account at 110.18. I purchased this for. I sold it today. Again, I was busy. I had already put in sell orders. I do sell orders way in advance, and I never checked it to change it, but that's okay because I'm happy with this. I'm up 15%, sold out. But let me give you the price targets. We ended the day at 128.37, up more than 9.5%. The range here, 119 to 128. The low for the year, $60, and the high, 132. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we're very close to meeting this range again. But on TradingView, the 1 year price target is 133.28. Just a 3% return from where we are. This is an old price target that I mapped out, which has been revised downward. All right, 2 standard deviations, 129.80, 132.12, and 134.54. To the middle of the trend and support, 125.07, 120.28. This gap forms to the south side at roughly 119.52. And this one closes out near 3 standard deviations, 117.30 and 115.59. And I have traded this multiple times in the past, and I am not a buyer unless we are down to at least -2, -3, or -4 standard deviations if I'm doing a swing trade, a quick swing trade. But because there's a gap closure here, definitely at some point I do anticipate this to close out. So that means price could hit up here, hit the 1-year price target, and then fall all the way back down here, okay? That does it for me. Thank you so much for watching.